Hello, how are you? If you're good, great, I'm happy. If not, I'm glad you're here. There's a saying that I like to throw around every once in a while, and that is, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm a big fan of that saying because when we make mistakes, when we aren't fully prepared for something, or just if something is generally thrown our way and we pick up a task and we're not very good at it, sometimes we beat ourselves up a little bit about it. I know I do. I'm probably the worst offender of this. And that's why I'm talking about it today. I guess maybe I think that if I talk about it and sort of forgive myself for not knowing what I don't know, maybe I can feel a little bit better about not being good at everything right away. In my work, I have to manage a lot of equipment. A lot of times I purchase this equipment and I will just use it out of the box and sort of just, you know, get by just using it. Now, some of the equipment isn't even for me, it's for my support people. Most of the time, for these particular pieces that I buy for them, I don't even spend much time learning how to use it or figuring out all the little bits and bobs and what all the buttons do and stuff like that. So it becomes a problem when I have to hand this equipment to somebody who's maybe not even as skilled as I am about these things. And if they have questions about how do you do this, how do you do that, I don't know. A lot of times on the job sites, I'll be looking up a quick video on YouTube of how to operate the damn thing or how to do this one particular thing. And that's because I don't know what I don't know. There's so much to learn about literally anything. You can spend your whole life becoming an expert at something. They say that if you do something for 10,000 hours, then you become an expert at it. I think there's some validity to that. I think that I've been doing things for at least that long, and I still don't consider myself an expert at it, but I barely think that I'm competent at things that I've been doing for 10,000 hours. Anyway, last night I took it upon myself to really, really sit down with some of my equipment and try to figure out how to make things better when I'm at job sites, better when I'm in these groups doing projects and trying to make everything work. It's almost embarrassing when I'm at the job site and a problem comes up and I just literally don't know how to either fix it or how to make it better. Or maybe I do know and I'm just not prepared to make it work right there at that time because it's going to take way too much time to make it right. A lot of times I wish I could just show up and the only tool that I need to use is my brain, maybe a pen, piece of paper. It's not that easy though. I have dozens of pieces of equipment that all sort of have to work together. And if one of those pieces I don't really know what it's doing at the moment, it can break the whole chain. It could delay everybody to move forward on the project and try to get the day done. So I feel pretty good that last night I spent a considerable amount of time trying to find a combination of all my pieces that would fit together almost like a puzzle that would make it easier for everybody else on the team. Not necessarily easier for me because it's all the same to me, but I think I'm going to feel good about the next time I go to these projects and I'm able to plug everything in and it's going to work. It's just going to work better than it has before. And the results are going to be better. And honestly, with what I do, it's the results that matter. So I wonder if there are other people out there who go through the amount of mental gymnastics that I go through, trying to figure out what pieces of equipment I'm going to need for this next specific project. How is it all going to go together? How is it going to work? But I go back to the the saying, you don't know what you don't know. And you can be as prepared as possible. You can go over everything you think you need to go over. You can plan. You can you can make a schedule. You can make lists. But there's still going to be things that you don't know that you don't know. And those things don't present themselves until you're in the moment and a new problem arises, a new situation, something that you haven't had experience with before. And you're suddenly going to know nothing. You're not going to know how to fix this problem, how to step aside it, how to get around it, how to get through it so that the day is a success, that the project is a success. And you'll maybe limp through, maybe you'll freak out, maybe people around you will think you are not as skilled or as experienced as you say you are. And it's all because you don't know what you don't know. I mean, it would be easy if you had a list of things that you needed to learn in order to become successful. But the problem is, for every situation, for every project, that list is unknown for the most part. I mean, you have things that you know that you need to know. And I'm sure there are things that you know that you don't know. But it's those things that you don't know that you don't know that becomes the difference between you as a professional and just somebody who showed up. It's how you deal with those new problems, those new situations that you've never seen before, and how you're going to deal with those. And it's fun because when I get back from a project like that, where I've run into a problem I haven't had before, I immediately start figuring out a way or several ways that I could have dealt with the problem better, that I could have avoided that problem. But again, I didn't know that I didn't know that. And most of us don't know until we're presented with it. So I guess the message here is maybe don't be so hard on yourself for being presented with something that you weren't prepared for, that you couldn't prepare for. You know, they always say expect the unexpected. Well, that's impossible. You can't expect the unexpected. You don't know what it is. You don't know what you don't know. Now, the only way to get around stuff like that is to be able to be calm and to fall back on your training, on your experience, and to do whatever you can to solve problems as quickly as possible. Maybe it's just putting a piece of tape on it, you know, getting through that one moment so that you can move on to the next thing. There will be plenty of time to figure out why that problem happened and what you can do in the future to avoid it or to address it better. But for now, all you had to do was just get through it and do it professionally, because you don't know what you don't know. I'll see you tomorrow.